Yes, hello, everybody. So I almost all of you know that this is our weekly community gathering, community meeting of the Foundation for Climate Restoration. My name is Mark Batchelder. I'm the co-chair of the membership committee, along with Joan Bordeaux, who is here and whole, and we're really glad about that. And she and I are co-hosting this meeting along with Julia Diederer. So any three of us may chime in as kind of the hosts and the MC as the afternoon goes on or evening goes on. And we are thrilled to have you all here. And if don't have your contact info yet, we'd love to have yours. You could put it in the chat for us. Like Matt, we would love to know how to stay in touch with you. If you'd like, we'll put you on our mailing list, or if you don't want to be on the mailing list, well, let us know. But if you would, you can just put your name and your contact info in the chat. And John Livermore, you might be a longtime member, but I'm not familiar with who you are. We're thrilled that you're here. If you want to say a word at how you're connected with the Foundation for Climate Restoration, now is a good time. And if you want to maintain your calm and your silence, well, that's fine too.
No, that's fine, Mark. I'm a climate activist and a filmmaker, and very, very interested in what the foundation is doing. I spoke with Peter the other day, and very interested in getting more involved with your great work.
Oh, we're thrilled about that. Really, really. So, so that's how you found out you had conversations with Peter, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that all said, we have Philip Pascal just showed up, which completes the screen. We have a full 25 in Hollywood Squares here. We have an intention for every meeting, a very distinct intention, and we usually reintroduce it here. And I'm wondering who would like, let's see. Actually, we don't have our usual tech person who puts up this beautiful slide of the intention and the mission and vision. He's away for this meeting, but I am going to read the intention for this community call. And that is that for each of these calls, our intention is that every call sparks for each and every one of us new thinking and new enthusiasm and new openings for action. And if anybody has any comments about that, we would love to hear them right now. And if that's complete, I want to move on to the mission and the vision of the Foundation for Climate Restoration. And Julia and Joan, you have a copy of this in the agenda if you've printed it out. If one of you would like to, okay, Joan is feeling shy.
Julia.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Do you want to say anything about this morning's meeting with?
We're hold your horses, as my mother used to say.
We're going to be getting to that, and I appreciate your impatience. Sometimes impatience is a virtue, especially when it's coming to changing the entire conversation about the climate.
Who's got it up in front of them? I know that Carolyn Flood does. You've got the.
Do you have it, Carolyn?
I might not have the most current version, but I have one.
Yes, you do. Go for it.
Go for it, dear.
Mission or vision and mission. Our vision is the climate restored by 2050. Our mission is to generate the global alignment for climate restoration by 2030, such that climate restoration becomes the overarching goal of all climate action. Climate restoration means restoring the climate to one humans have evolved and thrived in, with CO2 levels below 300 parts per million.
Thank you, Carolyn.
And I know there's something changed because of the 2026, but I don't have that version.
We haven't written it yet. We are still
okay. Thank you.
At the brainstorming stage. Thank you.
That change. Okay, Wiedemeyer has just joined us. Hello. And so I it we've covered the mission and vision before many times. However, does anybody have anything that they want to, I don't comment about that? How is this landing for you? Is it shifting for you? Or is there more about this that you want to speak of in this meeting at this time? And maybe we'll just move on then. So um when the there's a number of things that we want to cover in the meeting. But one of the most exciting is that the founder of the Foundation for Climate Restoration is Peter Fikowski, who's here with us. And he is going to be speaking on a panel at the COP30 at the United Nations Convention that's happening in Brazil. And he'll be speaking by Zoom, I take it. However, we are privileged enough to have him with us today, and he is going to give us a preview of what his presentation is going to be. And Peter, I'm not seeing you on the screen right now.
Right there. Yep.
He's here.
Okay.
And people could, switch to speaker view when he
Right,
starts
we switch to
talking.
speaker view.
I-
I think it would be great to start with, there you are, Peter, with hearing from you.
Okay.
And we want to hear what you have to say. You have to tell the United Nations or tell this particular sub-event, and you can describe to us what kind of event it is. And our intention is to get you full of our enthusiasm and be able to take that with terrific momentum into this meeting and into one way or another, directly or indirectly, into the amazing current that is occurring at the COP at the United Nations event here.
Great. Okay. Well, Mark, thank you. Everyone, thank you
Welcome.
for being here this evening. I'll dive right into the presentation. The context for it is uh, the group organized by two legal universities, the law universities. And so they're talking about a mandate, our mandate to take care of the climate. And of course, the official mandate is to stabilize the climate. But they have a panel on climate restoration. And that panel, I'll be the last person on the panel. It'll start with the Australian professor who'll talk about the need for dealing with the climate, which I think is well understood. And then there'll be two professors from Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Massachusetts, and they'll be discussing aspects of ocean iron fertilization and marine carbon removal, CO2 removal in general. And then I'll introduce the clear concept that we can go further than that. So with that,
And I do recommend that you all put him, put it on speaker view if you want to see him talking as he's on the side of his slides. Okay, sorry to interrupt, Peter.
oh, good. No problem. Let's see. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone, and I'll be thanking Ken Bissler and the other folks from Woods Hole for the work they've done to advance climate restoration and explain about how it works. I'm going to be talking about a future mandate, which is climate restoration, that everyone I've ever spoken to wants to give our children a safe climate like we were given. The good news is that it's possible and affordable, and it's likely to become an official mandate in the near future. Our current mandate, which is net zero emissions, won't restore a safe climate. That we're already getting wildfires and droughts and floods that are beyond anyone's imagination. Those reducing emissions will just slow the rate of those getting worse. It will not make it any better. And we actually want to make it better. So I love this Jerry Garcia quote that someone has to do something, and it's just incredibly pathetic that it has to be us. Uh, the goal is quite clear, and we would think that some large research facility, such as Woods Hole, would be authorized to research, well, how do we restore a safe climate? The fact of the matter is they're not authorized to do that research yet. They're not funded nor authorized. And so it's a bunch of old aging hippies like Jerry Garcia are saying, okay, good. We'll start making it happen and eventually it will become authorized. When I present about climate, it's really important to remember this graph. A lot of you have seen it over the years, and the red is temperature and the blue is CO2 over the last almost million years. And what you see here is that the red and the blue match. And the point is that unless we restore CO2 levels, the temperature will, within a few centuries, match the CO2. And so today, CO2 is about 425 parts per million. And in Antarctica, that corresponds with a 20 degrees Celsius warming, which is unimaginable. Over the whole planet, it's a fraction of that. It's probably 7 degrees warming, just because you may have heard the poles warm 3 to 4 times more than the planet as a whole. But the point is, unless we restore CO2, the climate crisis won't end. And we hear stories about methane, about ice, about rocks, about forests. All those are important aspects of the climate. But unless we deal with CO2, nothing else will make a difference. And that's sometimes good news, and it's often sometimes it's bad news, but sometimes it's really good news because it tells us that we can, if we, for those of us who are committed to delivering for our kids, there's one thing we have to focus on, and that's CO2. This is a similar graph of, again, the last 800,000 years, and it points out that removing 1,000 gigatons of CO2, getting CO2 from where it is today back to safe levels, and the highest level humans have ever survived was 300 parts per million, about 320,000 years ago. Um, that amount of CO2 has been removed innumerable times, a dozen times over the last million years. So we know it's possible, and we're now getting quite clear about how nature has done it. And that's what we're going to talk about. So what ends up happening is we can talk to our children about the climate as a blip, that because of technology changes, CO2 levels went up. And as responsible humans, we then moved them back down again so our ecosystems and our civilization would continue. It's really that simple. And I like the colors in this so you can remember it and show it to your children because this is where we're going. It's not where it's not where science would predict that we're going because science doesn't predict that we're going to change our tune and decide to restore the climate. It's never been done before, so science has to predict that it's not going to happen. However, uh, as adults, we can make things happen. Now, in the previous talks, Ken Bissler and Rom talked about ocean fertilization. The conventional way of thinking about it, and ocean fertilization was discovered in about 1990, so just 35 years ago. Uh, the thinking is it can produce about 1 gigaton per year of removals, of CO2 removals. That's about 3%, 2.5 or 3% of the emissions today. We saw in the previous graph that that nature can remove it at much higher rates. And we can see here, and this is a zoomed in graph, so this is just 1990 to 95. You can see in 1992, CO2 levels were flat. Although we were emitting CO2 20 billion tons a year, Something was removing them 20 billion tons a year for a year and a half and gave us net zero. And the evidence is that it was phytoplankton. It was uh, uh, photosynthesis in the ocean that was fertilized by this big cloud of dust, which included roughly 3% iron. But what's interesting is it uses about 1/10 of 1% of the ocean to do this. And if you extrapolate that, that comes out to about 20,000 times more CO2 per square kilometer than conventional science thought was possible. And so this left me and a number of other scientists wondering, how did that happen and how do we reproduce it? So we developed an NOIF, a nitrogen fixing OIF, or sometimes new OIF. And it has three key things. One is it provides enough nitrogen to keep the phytoplankton growing for a year or two. And that increases the growth by 1 to 2 orders of magnitude, 10 to 100 times. And doing it in downwelling eddies also increases the amount of carbon that's removed by 1 to 2 orders of magnitude. And then finally, measuring the CO2 that's removed using buoy-based sensors and satellite imaging reduces the cost by another 1 to 2 orders of magnitude. And that's why the conventional thinking says it's impossible. But looking at the more recent data from eruptions, it is possible. Now, this is a map of a downwelling eddy. So the blue dots are downwelling eddies in different parts of the ocean. And you can see that it's just a few percent of the ocean that's available for this, which also means that when it's done, it will have effects on just the small parts of the ocean. We estimate about 20 to 50 sites will be needed. So it's not going to affect the whole ocean. Because it doesn't need to, because it's roughly 100 to 10,000 times more efficient than the conventional thinking that didn't use the nitrogen fertilization and the downwelling eddies. And what nature does is supplies the iron, which is the missing micronutrient, by eruptions and dust storms. Well, we do it from the back of a ship. This is how scientists have done it for decades. But this will be done over downwelling eddies with sensors that measure the CO2 in the air. And that's about 100 times less expensive than measuring it over the ocean. So the bottom line is that we can do it, that we can restore the climate, and we should plan on it, because within a few years, that will become the requirement that society has given to the technologists and legal groups. That is, we have to restore a safe climate for our children. So that's it, and I welcome any questions. Thank you.
You're going to take down the last slide?
Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you. Yeah, so just raise your digital hand if you have a comment or a question about Peter's presentation.
Everyone's heard it before.
That's true.
Although
Yeah.
I hope you like the map of the downwelling eddies. Someone asked me about that last night, and it worked well. So,
Yeah.
Julia, we have some hands now.
Okay, good. Alan.
Take me off mute, that helps. So two questions. Who all is on the panel? And what do you think their reaction will be to the idea of climate restoration? And how can we best support you to get the reaction we want from them?
Well, my goal is to thank them for the work they've done that's taken ocean fertilization to where it's at now. And it's taken a lot of work over the last 30 years. And to honor the fact that the three things the three innovations we've done, they're new innovations, and they're not yet proven in the scientific literature. That takes years to decades. and it will certainly happen, but it won't happen in the time that we have left before our ecosystems collapse. So my main audience actually are the other people on the panel. I don't know who's going to be in the room and on video, but it's mostly people who are looking at the mandate, the legal mandate to reduce emissions. And that's of course great, but not what we're covering.
And who's on the panel?
Uh, Ken Bissler, Ramakrishna, I forgot but that's his first or last name. Both of them from Woods Hole, and a professor from Australia, whose name I've forgotten right now.
And,
3 of you.
Yeah.
and what are they doing at Woods Hole? Not everybody knows what Woods Hole is, probably.
Woods Hole is an oceanographic institute, and they're the leading institution proposing studies for ocean fertilization and just all of ocean science. So the two big ocean science universities are Woods Hole in Massachusetts and Scripps in San Diego.
Good. Does that handle it, Alan? Yeah, great. Good.
Good question.
Philip. Yeah.
Hi, Peter and
Hi,
everyone.
Philip.
So my comment is it was simple, concise. You're very well practiced at delivering it. And the other comment I have is you're looking much better, Peter. You got a nice shirt on today. Shirt when you did the TEDx. You got a nice suit jacket on. So whoever's in charge of dressing you up is doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip.
That's great.
I'm blushing.
Yes, Bob.
Yes, Peter, the presentation you just gave was terrific. Is that essentially what you plan to do on the panel? Make that presentation?
That's verbatim what I'm planning right now, and I'm open for suggestions.
I like it a lot. So I'm on board with what you're planning. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thank you.
That's great. And thank you, Bob. You know, I think some of us who've heard his presentations over the years as they've been developed, I want to thank you, Peter, because I'm speaking for all of us that we're getting more facile at speaking it. We can't speak science, but you know, it's not, we can speak it. And these opportunities to have you here speaking makes a big difference for us. Cynthia, looks like you're next.
Yeah, well, I had two things. One, I don't know if I just missed it, but did you talk about the cost? And then the other thing is, I know you're going to be doing your project near the Philippines, right? Next year?
Yeah.
And are you going to let them know that you're in the process of planning that?
Oh, probably. I at the moment I'm not planning to mention either of those because for the listening, for the people there, they're not even imagining implementing climate restoration yet. So that they're 3 or 4 years behind you.
Thank you.
That would sound like I'm building a colony on Mars and we'll all be there in 2 years.
But haven't they already read your presentations in which are available?
No, because they're busy. They're very, very busy. And you know, they're the domain experts. So it's not common for a domain expert to read material from non-PhD new people.
Okay. Andy, you're the next person with your hand up.
Thanks, Julia. Hey, Peter, great to see you.
Andy, good to see you.
I'm really happy you're given this going on this panel tomorrow. My question is partially for my own curiosity, but also in case they ask, what in that map of downwelling eddies that you showed, in terms of the testing of the carbon sequestration, what are the regulatory challenges? Like, are there places, for example, in the Philippines that have already said, yes, feel free to come use our waters for the testing of this? What do you see any places where in the near future you think that we can actually test the process and see what the measurements are in those downwelling eddies?
Yeah, it's a complicated question, but if you clear the decks for a moment and you ask what are the legal stops to testing ocean fertilization, the experts have all agreed there are no legal barriers to it. But just because of it's never been done before, and so there was never any need for any law about it, and so there isn't any actual enforceable law about it. Now, obviously, you do want to get asked for permits because people want to know that you're doing it with permission. So even though you don't require permits, you do, everyone who does it does get permits. And the main permitting group is the US EPA. We've been working with them, and they're very eager to get a permit through. I talked with them twice, once in person in DC. And I said, well, listen, no one's ever gotten a permit to do ocean fertilization. Can it be done? And they looked at me and they said, Peter, no one has ever applied.
Wow.
Give us an application. We want to work on it.
You've been thinking about it. How come, it hasn't been requested?
Welcome to humanity, Paul. It's just the way the human brain works. Is the brain thinks if it's never been done and it's obviously a good idea, the brain thinks there must be a good reason that it's not been done. And those evil people must be conniving. That's my theory. And so our job is to break that glass ceiling and say, "Oh yeah, it's been done." And as I said, they said, let's get it going. I talked with the EPA in the Philippines, and they said, give us a proposal as quick as you can.
So are you going
That's
to do?
excellent news.
Great, Peter.
Yeah, no, we don't have the money to do all that yet. So we're preparing little by little. And when the money comes, we can do it quite quickly.
That's great.
Thank you.
Peter.
You're going to do
Ray?
great tomorrow, Peter.
Yeah,
Thanks.
sorry I cut you off, Andy.
A thought on, you're saying that we can restore the climate by 2050. I'm wondering if it would make any sense to go into how fast things will start to change in terms of gross temperature as you start into this.
I would, but in a 10-minute talk where they've been talking about legal mandates and legal requirements, I don't think there'll be any space in their brains for that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is really wonderful in another way, Peter. I've been working around Peter for 8 or 9 years, and what goes into putting together a 10-minute speech presentation, it has to do with who the audience is. And he and Carol work just hours and hours to get the right language, the right message for the audience he's speaking to. So he spent a lot of time putting together this exact one that many of us have seen versions of over the last several years. So, I just wanted to acknowledge you, Peter, and Carol, for what it takes to put something simple together.
Yeah, thank you. Working on our new book is very similar. That we're not going to put a whole lot of detail in the book because inquiring minds want to dive into the weeds. But really, the book doesn't say, well, the new book won't say a lot more than that 10-minute presentation.
Yeah, great. Joan.
Yeah. So, Peter, first, I want you to know that I'm asking this question as somebody who has constituted myself as the climate restored. And from that place, my question is this the first time at COP that there's been a panel that includes climate restoration? So is this like a turning point for COP?
We had Joan. Thanks for that. We had an event 2 or 3 years ago at the Egypt COP, where John Bowie presented the film, the Climate Restorers film. And so this would be the second presentation about climate restoration.
Yeah, but John Bowie's not you.
That's right.
John Bowie's John Bowie, and John Bowie's good at what John Bowie does. But so I request you go in as this is a historical moment for climate restoration, even though it's like a 10-minute thing and blah, blah, blah. This is a turning point.
Oh, that's great. Okay, you're hired, Joan. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I'm already working though, so for free. So
And this is what she's doing. That's really brilliant. The context that she is requesting him to be speaking from. Again, Joan, say it one more time.
Is, that you are the climate restored, and you're the voice of the climate restored. You're not some smart guy going into a 10-minute presentation. You're it. You're the turning point.
And this talk is the turning point.
Yeah.
You're the turning point, and this is the turning point. That's amazing, Joan. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah.
He wrote that down, Joan.
I did.
It's beautiful. All right, Carolyn.
This is perfect, because what my thought is, the presentation needs to be compelling. And that statement that you speak from, the turning point, this is it. It's not out in the future. This is it now. But before that,
yeah.
Did I hear you correctly in saying that by the time science says this is how to do it, it's too late? The ecosystem will have collapsed.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh. That's something that I'm going, when somebody challenges you, we'll wait until science is done. By that point, the ecosystem will have collapsed.
Yeah.
That struck me, and that's why I asked for clarification. Is that really the way, if we wait, it's too late?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, to do good science takes many years to typically 2 decades.
Okay. So that just struck me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Sally.
I'll make sure I make that emphasize that. Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful that Joan preceded me because she said it so brilliantly and so clear. But yes, I was left with that we want the mandate we want the climate restoration mandate.
Right.
And the powerful speaking of that could, and I'm going to say should, predominate this opportunity, and that this is we use these terms, which you probably won't want to, but this is an idea that it's time we go with it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so congratulations getting here.
Yes, all
and
of us.
that's who we are in this group. In this group of climate restorers, we are the stand for this is it, and it's power for
Yeah.
climate restoration. So if
Yeah.
you want to clear with any of us,
Uh,
not
okay.
me probably, but because I don't necessarily have the right words, but
You got the being and that
we got the stand.
Yes.
Good. Well,
Don't need
Sally,
the record.
I like what you're saying is that we want the mandate. I was
Yeah, we want the
drafting
mandate.
a note to Mary Robinson, the former president of Ireland and the senior member of the elders that Nelson Mandela started. And she has become one of our elders council for climate restoration. And we've drafted an op-ed for the New York Times. I was just sending a note to her to have her approve a new draft. And as a former president, she can actually address the idea of a mandate, right? That's what executives do, is they deal with mandates. And so I will put that in the letter.
Sally, do you get that? What you just caused? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Also, I want everybody to know that I've begun speaking with, she's been on these calls, Inger Stent, how do you say her last name, Peter?
Oh, stencil.
Stenseth, I think it is.
Stencil.
And she
Ingrid
is,
Metzdenson.
yeah, she is a world-renowned youth and climate activist and has been for years and years. And so I've started speaking with her on a weekly basis. And out of that, the last call we had, she said to me, climate restoration is a big, big, big deal. And she's now speaking that, and she's also, she is arranging now. Peter is going to be speaking on the last day of COP, thanks to her. And she's at a, it's a hybrid venue from between Sweden and Brazil, where there will be live, I think, live audiences in both places. So he has a second speaking engagement at this COP, which is very exciting. Yeah.
And the
So,
best part is they're both by Zoom. I don't have to travel down there. I'm
yes.
so glad.
Yeah, Peter's been doing so much travel recently. We got to give him a travel break. Mark.
Yeah. This is really on the heels of what Sally said. And again, what's standing out for me is that you're speaking from a stand at the United Nations. And you're not speaking from, oh, we must do this, or it's urgent, or it's a good idea, or here's the argument, or whatever like that. And this is part of the turning point aspect of it, so that you're speaking from a stand, and from the stand, we're calling for the mandate. I just want to thank you for bringing that quality to the conversation here, and reinforce that all of us, the stand that we are, is behind the stand that you are.
Great. Now I got that. That means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. This is incredible, this conversation. You are altering who's going to speak tomorrow at that COP. Look at him. He's sitting up in a different way. I mean, we all know he's awesome. And yet this is truly empowering him. So thank everybody. Andre,
Yes, good evening, everyone,
good
and
evening.
good luck to Peter in the coming days at the COP 30. I was wondering, when we talk about the Mount Pinatubo eruption, it caused a blip, a decrease in the CO2 in the atmosphere because it released a lot of ashes. But there were plenty of other eruptions more recently. And the recent one are probably more monitored by satellites. And so we could have perhaps better data on the size of their effect on iron fertilization. For example, there was one submarine, Hunga Tonga in Tonga in 2022. And well, I think that to have this mandate for iron fertilization, we should not rely only on one big event, but to have a pattern of volcanic eruptions and measurement of their respective effects. What do you think?
Yes,
Maybe it's
we did a study of that earlier this year, Andre, and it's very interesting because we do have data from the Tonga eruption, and it had essentially zero impact.
why.
It removed some CO2, but the impact came back to zero within about 5 or 10 months. And presumably that's because the fish ate the phytoplankton and eventually it all got metabolized back into the atmosphere. Over the last 500 years, there were exactly 3 eruptions which made measurable impacts on CO2 levels out of many, 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 many eruptions. Out of 9 eruptions that were large enough to to cool the planet because they put so much dust in the outer atmosphere. So of all those, just 3. Pinatubo, there was one in 1580 and one in 1815. Those are the only 3. And so that let us figure out what's the key. And the
What's the
key
key? But then that induced the thought that only huge, massive massive events can trigger the decrease that we are looking for.
You would that would be a sensible conclusion. The data shows that there were much bigger eruptions which had no impact.
Hmm.
And the key was the eruption, like, did it occur in a place where the ash could fall into a downwelling eddy? And so only those 3 had significant downwelling eddies where the ash fell. And all the other ones, even though they were bigger, had no long-term effect.
But then how can you infer that if we have a small progressive iron fertilization, this will have an effect comparable to these events, volcanic events?
It's a great question, Andre. The answer is we know roughly if you put in a ton of iron dust, that will remove about 100,000 to 1 million tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. Um, how long will it last? Well, that depends if it's over a downwelling eddy, which pulls the carbon into the deep ocean before it gets eaten by the fish, then then most of it will be removed. Um, but the point is we know the math. We know how much iron is required to remove a ton of CO2. And we now know how to maximize that, to do it over a downwelling eddy and to do it in a way that you can grow the nitrogen fixing bacteria the same way that a farmer grows beans to replenish the nitrogen in the ground. We need to provide enough iron so that the bacteria grow and replenish the nitrogen in the ocean.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
those
Andre.
are both very sensible, simple facts, right? So they need to be done, more research needs to be done, but everyone is familiar with nitrogen fixing and, growing beans and so on, and everyone is aware of downwelling, that'll pull the carbon down before the fish eat it. And that'll take 20 years before the science is adopted, because that's the way science goes.
Well, does
Probably.
all the ashes of the
But-
volcanic, are they have the same amount of iron in them?
They're usually right around 3%. It doesn't vary
Okay.
by much. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I just want to take a little survey. How many people are tracking? Raise your hand.
Tracking?
Yeah, tracking with the conversation. You're following the conversation.
Oh,
Really
wow, yeah.
great. Okay, Sydney, over to you.
Thanks. Hi, Peter. Good to see you again. I met you at Peter Garrett's a few years ago
Oh,
in
really?
May at his garden party. I read your book. I am a very active member of Citizens Climate Lobby, which, as you know, is more focused on bringing down carbon. Personally, I think that both carbon reduction and reparations, such as you propose, should be done hand in hand. So what I'm wondering is, now that you're going to go to COP30, and I'm sure you've had this question before, but because you propose fixing things, the climate, uh, isn't big oil just going to love you? You're going to be a huge hit with them. And I know some of them are going to be there. Aren't you going to be a huge hit with them at COP30? Because they're going to say, gee, if Peter Fikowski fixes all this, we can just keep producing oil. And I don't know, what kind of a reception do you think you'll get? And
Well, Sydney, it's great to see you again.
thank you.
And I'm not going to be going down. I'm doing both of my presentations by Zoom.
Yes.
And I have talked with some oil companies. Um, they have bigger fish to fry. That is, um, I, I, I consider that most fossil fuel usage is controlled by the people like us who drive cars, who buy the gasoline and burn it, who buy the natural gas and burn it in our furnaces. And my understanding of economics is that the producers only produce a product when there are customers to buy it. And so I don't think the oil companies really care too much one way or the other. They want to except that they want to maintain their customer base. And when our ecosystems collapse and our economics collapse, they know that that's bad for their business. And if they support us, it'll be because they want humanity to keep on going. Uh, but there's so much noise at this point, as you know, in Citizens Climate Lobby. There is interest in Citizens Climate Lobby for restoring a safe climate, but you can't hear it over the noise yet. But with you here, with Carol here, and AM Noel, there are a number of Citizens Climate Lobby people here, and I think we'll get above the noise level soon. And yeah, keep doing your work to have that happen.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Now, we've got until 5 of, which means we've got about 4, maybe 4.5 minutes. So if you want to get your question across, get it crisp, so that we'll see if we can get all these questions or comments handled. Okay, Diane.
I just want to mention, Peter, to follow up on what Ray Sumby said. To me, it is very powerful to talk about reversing climate change and having that show up quickly. To me, it's a powerful reason to start as soon as possible, and this is the time. And that's just a suggestion. And you don't really even need to reply if you don't want to.
Of course he will.
Get other people.
Yeah, no, it's a great suggestion. We often use that term. In this case, I don't think they're ready for it, in this audience.
Got it. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, Benita. I know when you're in a car, it's hard to get the unmute button. I'm going to go to Ella Joan and I'll come back to you while you fiddle with it.
Look, you almost did it, Bonita. Ella Joan, go ahead.
Go.
I echo Joan Bordeaux's comments about your delivery. Peter, you're gentle, you're instructive, you teach us a lot. I'm going to invite you to take on a little more point of view at COP. Rally. I'm here to rally, not explain and be gentle, but also add the rally part where I'm here to rally you. I acknowledge you for having the reputation nationally, internationally, that you were invited to COP. So they think a lot of you. So let them have it, honey. Rally.
Rally. Okay, I'm writing that one down.
Okay, Benina.
Okay, so Peter, what I'm concerned about is when you say that we don't have the science. And for me, you don't have the science of 20 years of research and application. What you do have, you have the science that nature has given you. And I just think that you need to say that something, you have science that you're working with. In some way, say it authentically rather than saying we don't have the science.
Very good. Very good. Well, I have to be careful because the scientists in the audience, they're the high priesthood. And I can't make any claim for which they're the high priest.
Well, somehow, to me, there is some way that you can say you have some kind of preliminary science.
We have data.
Groundwork of it.
Yeah.
Great, Benina.
Great. Thank you, Benita.
All right, last one, Bob.
Later.
Yeah.
Anybody is welcome to email Peter, right?
Yes.
ppgo@gmail.com. Last one, and let's make it quick. Thank you, Bob.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
All right, good, I'll make it quick. Peter, about the presentation, I like the mandate aspect of it very much. I think it's time. I will share with you a 3-part presentation plan. I learned this years ago. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them.
Yeah.
And put a mandate at the front and the end. It's time for a mandate to restore the climate.
Great.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody. Coaching Peter, isn't it great? Let's thank Peter, everybody. Thank you so much, Peter. Any final words for you, Peter? And then we've got an announcement or two.
No, just thank you very, very much. This has been delightful and useful, but more than useful, it's been delightful.
It's so great to send you. Don't you feel like we're sending him to COP?
Yeah, and I wanted to say hello to Newsom for us.
Yeah. All right. So over to you very quickly, Mark.
Get me unmuted. So the we have a few announcements here. One that we want to remind you that we have a Founder Series presentation coming up on December 3rd, which means we'll have a special guest instead of our usual community gathering. And the special guest is a woman named Barbara Annis. Can you tell us briefly, Julia, what Barbara
Maybe
Annis?
I'll turn it over to Peter to say who she is.
Oh, that's great.
She's a gender intelligence world-renowned specialist, and she's going to be talking about climate restoration and winning together, men and women winning together and restoring the climate. Peter, anything you want to say about her?
I think that's the best thing we can say about winning together. We always want the others to be more like us. It's human nature, but we're different, and that's what's beautiful.
Great. Okay, good. Next.
Very and just underscoring what Cynthia was saying, say hi to Gavin Newsom for us. He will be at the COP30. And we have an opportunity it could be useful for all of us to contact his office and let him know how much we appreciate that he's being there. This isn't exactly lobbying, but we can tell him how much he appreciates and his standing for a healthy climate.
Can
Yes.
we say that we're from Climate for Restoration?
Absolutely, yes, you can. Absolutely, you can say that,
Well,
whatever's
You
truest for
can
you.
say, what he has said is that California is the stand for the climate. And we can say to him, we thank you for being a stand for restoring the climate. Put words in his mouth.
Yeah,
He
that's a
wants
great.
them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Okay, last.
Perfect. And then the North Bay chapter meeting, the next one is coming up on December 4th. So that's a few weeks out here. It's going to be in the afternoon, 3 or 4. It might be 4 to 5. We'll find out, get an update on that. And then last but not least, the most excited, we have Giving Tuesday coming up. So this is the annual big giving event that we creating a campaign around, and lots of nonprofits are creating a campaign around. I wanted just to begin to develop momentum for that. We just got a minute or two. Alan, did you want to add anything to this?
Well, just that the board is looking at lots of exciting things for 2026. We're going to be doing way more social media outposts. We're going to revise our website. We might do some advertising, and we're going to have a big push to get sustaining donors on our books. And so we really need your support, not only individually, which most of you I think have helped us, but get out your Rolodex, look at your contacts list, see who you can contact that can participate in Giving Tuesday. So as you know, we only have one part-time employee, so every dollar we raise can go to these programs and make a big, big difference for us. So you'll hear more about it in the next coming weeks, but just want to get the process started.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Are we ready for the quote, Mark?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I prepared a kind of a long version of this quote, but I don't think it's time to deliver that today, but maybe another time I'll give it. It's a beautiful background story that takes a couple of minutes to tell, but we are in studying the Hunger Project source document. One of the little scenarios, one of the perspectives that is quoted in there, we're struggling to become something that we aren't, or we're being something that we weren't before, and we're creating something, bringing something to being that we never created before. That is having the stand, having the priority of restoring the climate be the overarching goal of all climate action. And going into this, we might feel a little bit like we're just caterpillars wriggling along, and you could say caterpillars don't know how to turn into butterflies, but butterflies know how it happens. So we just gonna keep doing, and we will be. There's an even better story around all that involving Elizabeth Sahtouris and the development of the imaginal cells. Can't wait to tell you another time, but you'll all have to wait. Tune in next week.
Yes, tune in next week. Thanks, everyone. Thank you again, Peter.
Great to see all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Great screen of beautiful faces.
Great to
Thank
see
you,
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have
bye.
a great
Great
trip,
to meet
Peter.
you, Matt. Great to
Yeah.
meet you, Matt.
Great,
Good to meet you,
great.
John Livermore.
And John
Hello,
Livermore,
David
thank you for
Snyder.
coming. And
Marcus
Matt
Cooper.
Schweinard,
All right, bye.
very much appreciated. AM Noel, good to see you again.
Do it fast enough. Only caterpillars
Great
can
to
say
see you,
how.
Carol. Bye.
Robert Lawrence, I'm glad you came.
Well, yeah, that's all right.